Ready?
1 second.
It's a recording.
It's recording.
Good evening and welcome to Unforced Errors with myself, Jim, and David Redina. Sitting to the left of me, and to the right of me, we have a new guest, which is very exciting. We have Szidonia, and it's the first time we've ever had a woman in the UFE studios doing the broadcast.
And we've been trying.
Yes, and it's also Halloween, so if you're listening to this at Christmas or Easter, and it sounds a bit weird with all our references to Halloween, that's why we are recording actually on Halloween at the moment. So, Szidonia, welcome. Do you want to tell us a little about yourself? And then we're going to play a game to introduce Szidonia even more. We're going to play it. But yeah, if you want to tell us
where
about
you're from,
where you're from, because we're
question.
going to be discussing nationality and tennis, and also women in tennis. So yeah, tell us a little about yourself and tennis and where you're from.
I'm from Transylvania. Moved over to UK quite a few years ago. 13 years probably. And
Why did you move?
It was a mixture. I've done English literature as my bachelor's, and I've chosen for my thesis. I've chosen a contemporary writer, and I thought it might be a good idea just to get an interview with her, which I've managed to do.
Who was that?
Janet Winterson.
Yes, oranges are not the only fruit.
Yes,
is that right?
Yes.
Right, yeah, she's a very big author.
Good. I have no idea what you're talking about.
Yes, the thesis was on her very first novel,
Sure.
The Passion.
That's quite something to interview such a big author.
Yeah, absolutely.
It's amazing.
But even more interesting is that you are from Dracula's hometown.
Yes.
On Halloween.
Equally interesting, yeah.
How did that happen?
On Halloween.
Well, I was born there.
No, I mean, how did that happen that we have Halloween with someone from...
It was your planning. It was all
all
sure.
random, funny enough.
Yes, because
We
originally...
we were supposed to meet last week.
Yeah. And then Sophia had a cold. And
Exactly. It
we
changed everything.
postponed it. Yes.
Destiny.
Before we start talking about some other stuff, do you have any secrets about Dracula? Do you want to tell us stuff?
Secrets? Not really.
I always wanted to meet him.
The legend actually comes from Vlad the Impaler, who was the emperor at the time. And he was famous because he was impaling people. It's so simple. On a stick.
Yeah. How much truth in that is there, do you think?
He was a bloody-handed person for sure. So basically any stealing, for example, or robbering, anything, pickpocketing, it was basically punished with death. So simple. Yeah. And quite often he would cut off the hands of the...
I had no idea. Dracula comes from a real-life person?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Wow, okay.
Well, that is a bit different, isn't it? That's a good life story there, I think, compared to
So then
most
they
people.
went and made a movie about it? Like, okay, so let's make a guy that drinks blood?
Or Bram Stoker, I suppose. Was it Bram Stoker? Was it him who... Did he eat some cheese and he had a nightmare about Dracula, and so he wrote it and probably knew of the legend of Vlad the Impaler?
You know a lot about this.
Yeah, I'm just making it up, really.
How did you know all that?
I read it in a children's magazine when I was a child, actually, that he ate some cheese. So I always say to my son, if you want some cheese before bed, I'm like,
You might have.
if you have any good ideas, please let me know. We could write a book about this. Szidonia, I don't know if you've heard this before,
Get
but
ready.
on UFE, if we've got a new guest, we have a game called This or That. And there's only 10 questions, mostly tennis related.
It goes fast.
Yes, don't worry. It goes
all about
fast.
tennis.
And
What are you talking
I'll give you
about?
the score at the end. There's a
all
secret
about
scoring
tennis.
system, which is on the website,
Yes.
obviously.
Non-existent website.
But... And we'll see how you do compared to the other guests. So are we ready? Cue the music, David.
Yep, go.
Venus Williams or Serena Williams?
Serena.
Nike or Adidas?
Adidas.
Clay court tennis or grass court tennis?
Grass.
Singles or doubles?
Singles.
Forehand or backhand?
Forehand.
Federer or Nadal?
Federer.
How are you?
We're gonna have
Hesitation.
problems.
Serve or volley?
Serve.
Double fault or unforced error?
Double fault.
Halloween or Christmas?
Christmas.
Men's tennis or women's tennis?
Men's.
Aha.
And that's the end of the round. Not bad. So just totting it up, Ivana's totting it up on her calculator. 6.2.
What was the second question? I have a question about the question.
Venus or Serena was the first night.
Serena?
Yeah.
Ah, how come?
Wow.
Probably because I watch more games for Serena.
Yeah, she's
rather
more
than
Yes,
popular in the
that's
last
true.
decade, to be
Yeah.
honest,
Yeah.
because Venus kind of disappeared.
It's unusual.
Yeah.
You've got a bonus point for that because most people do say Venus.
And this leads me to a question. So tell me, what is your relationship with tennis? I know you don't play it.
No, I don't play it.
Do you ever watch it?
Quite often I would.
Or you would?
No,
So
I
that means
do.
in the
I
past?
do. In the past, well, basically, when I used to be at home, my cousin is a big tennis fan. She used to play as well.
Yep.
So it's sort of in the family. And I recall watching Steffi Graf and Monica Seles, probably one of the...
So your relationship with tennis goes way back.
So late 80s, early 90s we're talking,
Yes,
aren't we?
early
really?
90s, yeah.
Looks like we have a good guest.
Yeah, that's good
Yeah.
shit because I'm
I thought he was like somebody that was going to come and didn't know anything about tennis.
no.
Don't
that's
know
good.
much about tennis.
That's well.
Did you have
But
a
it's-
favourite player? Did you favour Steffi or Monica, or which tennis players have you loved over the years?
As a family, we were a fan of Monica Seles at the time.
Yes, yeah.
But it probably has something to do with the ties to national ties as such.
Ah,
for
interesting.
Seles.
Monica
Monica
Seles.
Seles.
Was she Yugoslavian?
She was, but she had some Serbian. Was she not Serbian? I
think she
thought
was-
she was Serbian.
We have
Well,
Google.
yeah. Should we look it up?
Google will help
'Cause
us. Google always helps us.
So you felt she was more close to your nation.
It's also because of basically Seles is a sort of a Hungarian name.
Ah, yeah, okay.
It means windy.
Windy.
Which it is today.
It is. It's true. Everything comes together.
Yugoslavia.
It is
Yugoslavia.
Yugoslavia.
Yeah.
So your family used to watch together, like at home or something?
Yeah, but we used to watch all the sports. Basically, it was quite
Tennis
quite
just-
a thing. Tennis
another
was
one.
one of them. Yes, yes. So
So sport in Romania is big to encourage the kids to play sports. What are the big sports? Is there something like water polo? Big. What are the main sports?
Water polo is fun.
water polo is more in Hungary, but again,
Right.
because we are Hungarians from Romania, so
Yeah.
it's a tie more to with the Hungarian side. Football, gymnastics.
Yeah, football, very good.
is,
Yeah, Romania is
everywhere.
Football
very
is
good
everywhere.
at football.
Everywhere.
So when you left your home and you came to England, did you continue watching tennis or did it just stop?
It didn't totally stop. I've had a few years whereby I wasn't watching anything really. I was lazy, I think.
Or other interests, I suppose?
Possibly.
Series?
I was.
Movies?
Well, I was watching them, but not even that. I was working a lot.
Exactly.
You know,
Is it
it's-
not like that
Yeah, we've
anymore?
all done that at
No.
times.
No,
Yeah.
I've learned a little bit, so I'm trying not to overdo work.
Yeah.
Aha,
Get the balance
exactly.
right. Yeah.
You have
it's
to,
really
isn't it?
important.
Yeah.
There's a lot of people out there that just work.
Yeah,
And then it's, who am I to judge? But I would say freedom is important too.
it is.
Mm.
I have a very good friend who's a tennis coach, and we tend to get together every time when we have the finals. Then it's probably 5 or 6 of us
So
good.
then you
Watching.
watch.
Which finals?
watching together.
Yeah, tell us a couple.
We've watched the Wimbledon. I haven't seen. I wasn't there for the US Open,
So which
because-
Wimbledon final? The last one?
the last one, of course.
What happened? Was it when Federer lost?
Yes, I'm sorry, David.
Oh.
Yes, it is. It
Yeah.
is when he lost.
Ah,
Ah.
On that note, Djokovic won. So.
And were you supporting Djokovic? Is that's more closer to your nation or not in terms of his?
I wouldn't say that it is. I don't really feel the national ties anymore as such.
Yeah,
So
yeah.
it's more about.
But you're more of a Djokovic fan than Federer.
I would say so.
Yeah, good.
so that
Again,
that
I mean,
completes everything.
It's unusual. A lot of people prefer Federer. Not
No,
everyone
no.
loves Federer. I know
That's
people
very
who
true.
think he's arrogant. Good to have a
why
Novak fan.
Why do you have this connection with Djokovic more than the others?
I do like his ability to control the game. Basically, the ability to stay. You watched the US Open. I know you have.
Mm-hmm.
You could see as he was falling apart towards the end.
Very unusual.
Yeah,
Very
unusual.
He always
but
has a grasp on the game.
yeah,
Yeah, it was sad to see, but quite nice to see the fans get behind him and him get emotional.
It was a
that's
special moment.
that's a turn, definitely a turn in his
We
life.
liked it very much, seeing how he won the day, not by winning the slam, but by finally getting all that love that he's looking for.
Yeah, after so many years, you would say, because
She's trying so hard.
Yeah,
Yeah.
absolutely.
Interesting. So finally, we have a fan of Djokovic in our
Yeah, we haven't. And we've had Stephen, who's a big fan of Nadal, isn't
Nadal,
he?
yeah.
Yeah.
Over and Federer will make the sign of the crucifix if we
You
mention.
will.
So
dangerous,
now
man.
we've had a Djokovic fan. Obviously, David's a massive Federer fan, and I love him. I love him too.
Yeah.
So yeah, we're getting the balance here, aren't we? Really?
Perfect.
And Serena has got mentioned as well.
Yes,
favourably.
contemporary favorite tennis player. Woman.
It would be. It
would be Serena?
Serena.
Ah,
I just like her game, I would say,
yeah, that's what I would say too, to be honest.
because when it comes to, I mean, she's been a speaker of women's equality.
Was it ever since that incident with Carlos Ramos?
Yes, the incident in the US
Because
Open
she-
final a few years ago,
that was
wasn't it?
Yeah, because she just
Against Osaka.
That's the one I'm talking about.
Yeah.
And then she left. She went to talk shows and she started talking about. It's good that we have a woman finally to talk about.
Did you see the incident at all?
Yes, yes.
What did you think? Did you think it was a male thing? Because Serena's point was, you wouldn't have given me a warning if I was a man, if this was the man's game. That was...
It's these are allegations. In my opinion, it doesn't necessarily translate it to me as being male, female. It's I wouldn't say that
Do
it
you
was.
see a difference where
Well, if
some
you-
roles are seen differently when it's a man performing them than a woman?
Yeah, do men get away with more? They're expected to swear and throw their rackets, and women are supposed to
And
be
other-
more, inverted commas, ladylike.
Yeah, and other types of behaviors.
Well, this is going back to how we perceive as being someone, a man or a woman, in terms of gender as well, and how we come across. If you recall, she was talking, I'm a mother, that's what Serena was saying. And if you want equality, you want to be treated equally, and you don't want to have the gender differences, then you're not drawing attention to this. So in a way, the whole idea has developed and has been led in a way by Serena or the media in general.
There is a shift in society at the moment where there's a lot of women coming out. The Me Too movement started.
Yeah.
There's a lot of women coming out and saying the things that they were mistreated on. And so what happened with Serena is kind of goes in line with all that. Yeah.
There are gender inequalities if you think about, and you look at the statistics even,
Yes.
or the researchers. There was one done not long ago.
Is it something that you
previous year.
feel in your job, for example, as a woman?
No, because we are all women power there.
Oh, you are?
It's the other way around.
Whoa!
You have male,
So
you
we
have
have
male
more,
employees
more
there, yeah.
we
Yeah.
only have 4 male employees, and the rest is
Out of how
women.
many?
Out of 13, sorry.
Yeah.
Yeah, they stand no chance.
And the
They
people,
don't,
men.
of course
I feel
not.
sorry for
of
men
course
now.
not.
and the people in power in the top positions in your job, they're men or women or equally?
It's that one that is actually mixed because
Right, it's more even.
yes, our the main partner, the senior partner, wants to retire or start
Yeah.
other businesses as such. So as soon as he's stepping back, it's going to be the 3 of us basically. It's 2 women and a man. So
Yeah.
we
So
have
there's
Interesting.
no pressure when it comes to that in your work environment.
no, not really. I personally haven't felt any in any way discriminated or differentiated just because I'm a woman.
That's good to hear.
I was at home, of course, because when I went, I had to make my point in order to be allowed on the football pitch, for example, because I wanted to play, and they were like, "You're a girl, you can't play." I was like, "What do you mean I can't play? Of course I can."
Was this at work or at school or
It's school.
at school? Yes.
As a
Yeah, my
teenager?
Teenager.
Yeah, my girlfriend had
Yeah.
the same thing at when she was at a school before the age of 11. She wanted to play. All the kids played at break time, but there was no team for the girls until the year after she left, which she was very annoyed about. There was a girls' team, and it was like, oh, I would have loved that. And she says, oh, I'd be playing now if only I was encouraged, because
Yeah.
See, those are different times. Nowadays, the world trying so hard for women
Yeah.
to take men's roles. things have changed a lot.
Yeah.
For example, the other day I saw in the playground, I took Sophia to the playground, and there was these 4 girls, like 12, 13, kind of teenagers,
Yeah.
and they were in this car that bounces, this Jeep,
Yes.
and they were playing zombies and guns and grenades, which is something that I never saw back in my day when I was a young kid. So there are some
that's a good
shifts.
thing, yeah.
They are getting interested in some other things.
Yeah. But, I've had my share of tragedies in my life, and I was never allowed to play netball at school, and I actually quite liked netball. we had
goes
one
the
game.
other way around.
I get quite emotional talking about this. But we had one game, the football team. I was in the football team, played the girls' netball team. I thought, this is really good, because I've never liked or understood basketball. So netball appealed to me more, although I must admit I don't totally understand netball, but I think you stay in your positions.
You pass
Rather
the ball
than
around,
bounce the ball 50 times.
Yeah,
and, there seemed to be a score every 10 seconds in basketball. But no, I think it's good that the gender barriers are coming down, hopefully more in sports at school stage.
Now we know that you wanted to play netball when you were a kid.
There.
What an evil world we live in.
Me too, netball.
It's unbelievable.
Yes.
Now you would be accepted immediately.
Yes, too late though.
Gene.
Never going to make the England team now, am I?
Yeah, that's true. But you can always go to, seniors? Netball?
Yes. Yeah, I could. Yeah, that's not a bad idea.
Funny enough, when I walk around or go to sports complexes, every time I saw this sport being played, I never saw it played by men.
No, for some reason
but it exists in men, doesn't it?
It's a female sport, isn't it? I don't even. There probably are men's netball teams, but
it's not that.
There's nothing to stop
widely.
men playing it. It's not as any particular female characteristic which makes netball a female. Game.
I don't think it's the case with any sports really. It's probably the level what you put in.
Boxing, yeah, it's true. Women box.
Well, MMA now.
Horse racing. Very good. There's a very good jockey.
There's a sport that's always been more attractive in women than in men ever since I was a kid. Volleyball. Did you guys have
I wonder
that as well?
why.
I know why. Hey, let's clear this.
They've got better
It was
backhands
very
on the
simple.
volleyball court.
No, there was more game going on, isn't it? Because men were so strong that
more game. Yes.
More game.
You can Google this to see what it means.
Yep.
Yeah.
Because men would just kill the ball, boom, done, next play. Whereas women really flow well. Yeah.
I suppose one of the things between men and women, I suppose, in work and in tennis too, is the fact that women will go on maternity leave, I suppose, as well. And what happens to your ranking? I think it's more protected now for women, isn't it? If a woman goes on maternity leave, but it really does interrupt the rhythm of your career. Magic thing though it is having a child.
Happened with Serena and with Azarenka.
Kim Clijsters has come back very well, but it's another obstacle, isn't it? You see your rivals, game improve while you're looking after junior. So that's a big difference between men's tennis and women's tennis too. I'd imagine Novak's far less of a hands-on parent. A child often needs its mother, doesn't it, more than the father? I hope that's not a sexist thing to say, but
think about it. It's the changes that a woman goes through by the virtue of giving birth. The whole value system is upside down. Not even to talk about the hormonal side of it. And whenever you're in sports, it's all about control, mental fitness. In the first place, in my opinion, if you want to be successful.
Yes, it's a
so having your hormones and having your life, basically your whole psychological
it changes everything for a while. And now I've seen it happen.
Yeah.
Women go through loads. Although I must say that men should also be given 1 year leave.
Yeah.
What the hell?
Yeah. Yeah, I can't remember whether they are now. It's so complicated.
Now it's like, a month?
Yeah, I think
Not
you
even
can.
You can choose. You can choose. The worst is when you choose whether the dad is going to stay here with the kid or mom.
No, both should be able to.
Both should be, but British society is not something that actually helps.
In Portugal, it's
families.
even worse. Forget it.
But in Romania, you get 2 years as a mum. 2 years of work paid. Yeah.
Here is
paid on 80% or full pay. Yeah.
That's really
and
good.
here you get 6 months, I think.
1
it is
year.
You
At
get 1
least
year, but you
for-
get 6 months on 90% pay, and then it goes down or something
little
like
bit.
that. And unless
It's
you,
complicated.
yeah,
It's
unless you
complicated.
actually have a good company behind you who's giving you the benefit
Exactly.
of
It's then.
Yeah.
But if you're
Yeah.
working for the government or for NHS or for
the statutory is 1 year.
in Portugal, it's 6 months. That's how short it is.
It's what are you doing then? What did Portuguese
Unacceptable.
mother do?
Takes longer than 6 months to
Yeah,
recover.
my sister had 6
Absolutely.
months, and
Yeah.
then they have to go to nursery.
Yeah.
Mm.
And of course, life on the road for a mother on the tennis circuit, taking the kids around, very difficult to juggle childcare with going from hotel to hotel, from airport to airport. So,
Having the security really, which is the
yeah.
safe home as such.
Yeah. What must it have been like in the 70s for people like Yvonne Corley or Yvonne Goolagong, the Australian tennis player? Because even the superstar tennis players used to travel on normal planes. They didn't always catch private jets. So you could be going off to, I don't know, on holiday to Spain, and Bjorn Borg would be on your flight.
Yes.
He would be hassled in the airport lobby for
Good old days.
autographs. So I think it's changed now a bit for the top players. Obviously, they can get private jets and they get ushered through a different entrance to go on the
Yes.
plane.
Things
But I
have
think
changed. More
I think
money
in the
as well.
70s, you were sharing a plane with someone who was going on a drinking holiday.
Yes, and,
You know?
which also all the players were more close to each other. They didn't live in bubbles
Yeah.
separate from each other. It was good times. Although now they have more money, for sure.
They do.
Okay, so you've seen that society is forcing the image of a man in a woman, or vice versa. For example, now we have 007 woman. That's a new one.
Indeed, yes,
we
you mentioned
now
that.
have.
Okay, but
She's definitely a woman that works with James Bond.
yeah, there's an agent who's been given the 007 moniker.
Exactly,
I haven't seen the film,
yeah.
but I read Wikipedia.
The
right? I know.
superheroes are coming as well, has females and
Yeah, Doctor Who. You know Doctor
Yeah,
Who? You
yeah.
know, that was a woman. She's
Yes, indeed. Well,
going to be a woman for a while yet until the new one takes over.
so it switched as well.
It's switched. She's
Used
going to
to be a man.
switch.
it used to be quite
It
a
was
few.
always a man. I think
Always a
about
man. That's why I'm confused.
10 men in a row from
Yeah.
1960. Yeah.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So there you go.
What, Father Christmas? Would it be Mother Christmas?
Yes.
I'm
we
trying
had
to
Mother
think.
Christmas at home, but it's
Mother
Yeah.
Christmas, like the Santa Claus female.
Santa Claus, the one that
Mama Claus.
Mama Claus sort of
That
thing.
sounds
Yeah.
great.
Yeah. So yeah, what next? It's amazing, isn't it? Really, God is a woman in
God is a woman.
paintings.
It's gonna come.
Yeah, Tarzan.
Tarzan
Yeah,
woman
it's
indeed.
gonna come as a woman
Yeah.
as well. Exactly. So this is not only about women and men, but it's also the politically correct world that we're trying to enforce into people these days in exaggeration. And the reason why I'm putting this question out there is I want to know your opinions about this. Is it something that is being forced too dramatically, or is it something you as a woman? How do you feel about all this? Is it important for the world to be so aggressive in this? Trying
To
so
push the
hard to
perspectives.
yeah, because the way I see, I'll clear it up. I feel that we are still women and men, and we have something in us, innate in us, and I feel that society is trying to give the men roles to women to prove that women can do it. It's not really like that because women are still women, and they still like those things that are more basic to the female sex.
Well, obviously, you can't deny the basic innate biological differences to
Exactly.
start with. So, I
Is it a
think
difficult question?
it is a difficult question.
It's a big
because
question.
it's for me. I mean, I have quite an open attitude towards all sorts of gender roles
Of course.
as such.
Yes.
And I do believe that if free will exists, then having an informed choice is what should be down to each and every person without the aggressivity of forcing any opinions onto each other's.
I think your question raises lots of different things. I think and on gender, it's something I really think. That there's a transgender row going on at the moment about a lady from Sussex University who said, I think she made some comments which really led to her resigning. They didn't want her to go. I can't remember what the comments were, but I think it was along the lines of, look, if you're born a woman, you're always going to be a woman. I think that's happened. If that wasn't the case with her, I think that other famous people have got into trouble with saying that. And I really, I just think science has evolved so much, and our ideas of our identity have evolved so much. I sometimes struggle to keep up, with people saying, I don't have a sex, I don't identify as man or woman.
Yes.
I want to be known as this and that. You can choose any identity for yourself that you want. And I really don't know what I think, because it's such a new concept to me. I didn't have this when I was growing up in the 1970s that you could. So, it's hard for me to take on board. I'm not saying it's wrong at all, but I haven't formed a set opinion on it yet.
Of course, it's difficult too. I find that if I put this topic into the air, it looks difficult for you guys to talk about it. It's almost like too sensitive for people to have an opinion.
It's a very controversial one, but sometimes I have no opinion. But it does raise another point I've just thought of, actually, in terms of gender in sport. Say you've got a man who has a sex change to a woman. Should they be allowed to compete
that is happening
in the women's, which has happened before in tennis?
And not only
in the 70s, Renee Richards.
Athletics. The
so
Olympics.
It's going to happen. It's going to happen in tennis, surely. And what if it does? Is that right? That someone born a man can compete in the women's game? Does it give them a head's unfair advantage?
Mm-hmm.
I would say then, but going back to the biological differences, there might be an advantage.
Yeah.
In the Olympics, in running, there's a man that switched sex.
Yeah.
Weightlifting.
And
right?
no, running. And now he's beating all the women.
Yeah.
And getting all the golds.
But you can train as a man when you've got that extra testosterone, and men, the best men are quicker than the faster women. So if you train for years and years, you've got that muscle memory still, even if you change your genitalia, which also alters the hormone treatment you're getting, but you've still had the advantage of all that testosterone and all that training. So I've got qualms about it, but hey, I'm not a doctor.
So what would you do? Would you create a new
sport?
Probably would be a new group, I would say.
Yeah, I think
a small group though.
I think that's not it's not a bad idea, really. But I mean, how would they find time at Wimbledon?
To actually
it wouldn't be
maybe
not as prestigious. People rightly or wrongly would want to watch the men's or the women's, not the sex change championships.
Exactly. Mm-hmm.
So
See, it's going there. We're going that direction slowly.
Yeah.
Slowly.
So, Szidonia, do you think women tennis players should get paid the same as men?
I said yes. I would say yes. I would go for pay equality.
Why is that?
First of all, because I'm a woman. In my opinion, if you have different categories, and they are regarded as the same categories at the end of the day, then the pay should be reflected the same. You do have, I think, if you look at probably Scandinavian countries, that's where you have a better pay equality. It's a more feminine society in general. But why would someone who's doing exactly the same sort
it's not exactly the same. You tell me what you think. Men play, for example, for longer time, and they tend to give
not always. It can be 3 sets as well.
True.
Yes, but
That's
yes,
true. But
can go to 5.
Yes, and not only there's more people watching men than women. I watch the same men as women.
Yeah, you do.
But then that influences the ratings of viewers, the money made. Are men the ones that have been attracting more money to the tennis world? That gives them the right to earn more?
I wouldn't say that it's necessarily based on gender, because if you look back, there were periods where women's games were watched a lot more than men's.
Or that? I didn't know.
I think I've been looking at it, not even that long ago, probably the early 2010s.
There can be times when I'm more interested in the women's final than the men's final.
I know that time.
US
I know
Open,
that time.
But no, I'm sure other times too when Jana Novotná
wasn't that long ago, was it?
Nope.
When Jana Novotná won too, I was happier and more invested in that match than the men's equivalents that year. which was
Yeah.
Sampras winning again, I think. So yeah, I've heard this said as well. You know, other people have said there've been times when women's tennis has been more interesting than men's tennis.
So from that point of view, it's also a matter of the big players. Clearly, if you look at a woman and having a break in the career because of childbirth, that
yes,
will have an
that's
impact.
very true.
It will have an impact on the development of the individual, whichever way you look at it, because you're out of the game for a year at least.
Women make an enormous sacrifice. Some women to play tennis, they kind of playing in their 20s and their 30s, putting off motherhood
Until late.
Yeah, so why shouldn't they be rewarded for that, really? So yeah, it's a strong argument. Would you have women play 5-set matches just to end that argument of, well, they're not the same, they don't play over 5 sets? Or would you have men reduced to playing 3 sets? Or would you keep it as it is and keep the equal pay?
No, I definitely wouldn't want to reduce the sets for men.
Would you want to extend them
But
for
would
women? Would you
extend
watch a 5?
possibly, yeah.
Would you watch a 5-set women's final?
Yeah,
Yeah.
I would.
And David?
I would love to see that. I'd love to.
You love 5-set
Because
matches.
It's because you like
I love
watching.
tennis and I love women's tennis.
You'd make
so
it best of 7
why
sets
not?
for every match, wouldn't you?
Yeah, but I would love to see the power of the woman going for 5 sets, like those Djokovic Nadal matches for 6 hours.
Or would that just reward the power players, the stamina players? Yeah, the powerful players like Serena, you know, there's more chance of her losing in a best of 3 sets. But if she's down 2 sets, her probably power and her stamina would see her come through more. So maybe there'll be less upsets. You know, you just don't know. It could go either way.
Yeah.
They have played over 5 sets, of course, in some matches. Chris Everts and Martina Navratilova had a few 5-set matches in certain tournaments. So it has been trialled and no one died. Because I'm sure Bobby Riggs would say, hey, come on, if you're a proper player, you play the man's game and you do it over the best of 5. So that'd be interesting. We'll have to check that out at the end of the program and give the answer.
Yeah. So in Grand Slams at the moment, the equal pay is equal pay between men and women.
Yes, it is.
Only in the
other tournaments, because there's not one unified organisation, is there?
Exactly, WTA and ATP.
Different tournaments, yeah.
Yeah, exactly.
So I've got a rule change, which it fits in with the subject, and you've
for
got
it.
to say accept or deny. I've got 2 rule changes,
We're
actually,
ready.
if I can remember them. And I'm sure I've had this before, but I'm going to bring it up again because it's a woman's special, and we've got a lady with us as well. So at Wimbledon, it's always a tradition that the man kicks off the tournament, the defending champion. And then the last match of the tournament, the grand climax, is the men's match. The women's match is played on a Saturday now. Used to be played on a Friday. And the men's final is the big climax, the last whole game of the championships played on a Sunday. Used to be played on a Saturday. So I'd have it would alternate each year. You'd have sometimes the women would kick off the tournament one year, the next the defending men's champion kicks it off, and I would also, alternate the climax too. So it's not always the man ending it. This is my nod to equality. To anyone who says I'm sexist, I think they should even it up that way. Why should it always be the curtain raiser, the men, and the man brings the curtain down on the tournament? And I'm mucking with tradition, so yeah, accept or deny.
Yeah, I accept that very well.
Yeah.
It's good because it does create the balance. Although it raises the question again, what are people most expecting the climax to be? Men or women's match?
Well, do people prefer watching men's or women's tennis in general? Because of this or that, I think you said men's tennis.
Yeah.
Didn't you? Yeah. But it could change. Next year, you could give a different answer.
I would go as far to say that while Federer, Nadal and Djokovic are playing, most probably the climax will be those 3 guys. There's nothing bigger than those 3 fighting for the Grand Slams.
Yeah.
Only Serena is
so
the
do you
last
think it
one
should
that
be-
is actually
Indeed.
close to
We never
to
know
this.
who the finalists are going to be, do we? Before a tournament starts, so we can't really decide just because Federer and Nadal, Djokovic are bigger. We'll have the
Exactly.
climax.
Yes, and
Whereas,
it's the
Still away.
names will
exactly.
attract.
Whereas if Raducanu plays, maybe in the UK, but anywhere else
Yeah.
in the world, it's not going to be as much. I
Just
guess,
give her a few more years.
yes, exactly. I guess that speaks to not the division between men and women, but the division between people that becomes so popular that they actually make the big bucks. Maybe there's a woman out there that is coming. It's going to be so attractive with her tennis and so powerful that
That it
will
will
surpass the Federers
Yeah.
and Djokovic and
But
Nadal.
Dave, there already is someone out there
Yes,
like that.
there is.
Yeah, there is. Yeah.
Or is it brewing?
Well, we
come
don't.
on, I wanna know.
No, we don't. I'm of course referring to my Emma Raducanu, who's
My
been
Emma.
struggling a bit maybe lately after
Just
after
like
the
every,
USA.
every other woman that won a Grand Slam in the last decade.
Well, it's true. Yes, Swiatek,
Ostapenko, and so forth.
Yes.
What's your idea on that? What's happening with the men's game and the women's game in terms of the men has been dominated by 3 master players for the last 2 decades, whereas women in the last maybe decade, maybe 5 years, has been a new winner almost every
Revolving
time.
door,
Almost,
yeah.
yeah.
Do you like that? Do you prefer, what's happening in the men's?
You can look at the question 2 ways. One is if you have one winner, if you have one that is basically excelling or in tennis, then you don't have the same sort of competition there. You don't have that same spirit. That's what I can see. If you have more that are going through, it's a lot more exciting. And I have to refer to GP at the moment, MotoGP. Last year, one of the 6 times world champion, he had a very severe accident because he was always leading. Always. As soon as Marquez was on the pitch, everybody was left behind. And as soon as he had the accident and he came back this year, actually the races are a lot better because he's getting back now. He is there, but you have a better competition there because you have different riders competing and going
rivalry.
for it. Exactly. It's a lot more excitement and it's similar. I mean, if you look at Nadal, Djokovic, Federer, it's been 3 of them and you've always had that sort of rivalry.
At least there is, exactly.
Yes. Whereas in women's, you don't have anyone who's standing out at the same level.
Exactly.
Which, in a way, it's good, but it would be nice to have a few women players who are coming
And
to an
staying
age.
at the top and creating new stories, isn't it? Because what we were saying in past UFE episodes, until the last one, excuse me, because now it has shifted completely, but but what we've been saying is that there is the lack of that story in the women's tennis. Like, okay, so now it's these 2 great champions meeting in the final, whereas we have that in the men's in the last many years.
But maybe less fairy tales in the men's game and more fairy tales in the women's. Raducanu coming from nowhere, Swiatek coming from pretty well nowhere to win the French, whereas in the men's, the fairy tale is an unknown player maybe getting to the quarterfinal before they run into one of the top 3 and then getting crushed.
Yes, so Federer is with 20, Djokovic with 20, Nadal with 20 is not a fairy tale?
It's a different type of fairy tale, really, isn't it?
The
fairy tale is the king comes back. Federer has, Nadal has, Djokovic has from injury or loss of form to come back to the top. And they've done it so many times. It's not a fairy tale now. They've had 2 or 3 comebacks each.
Yeah.
It's an expectation rather than a fairy tale now.
Yeah, it's a continuing of a fable, really, of the legends.
Yeah. So, have you ever stepped on court to play yourself as well? Have you ever grabbed a racket and...
I've stepped on court, yes,
You did?
as a teenager, yeah. I used to play handball, basketball and football mainly.
Handball is a great sport.
Handball is lovely. And we've been doing, we do ping pong, table tennis still.
That's a great
because
sport
we love it.
Yeah.
It's it's mixed groups, so it's not only men that can play it.
Yeah.
We are playing against the boys. It's not a problem.
Ping pong is a great sport.
yeah.
It's probably the most inclusive sport of all time. Everybody plays well. Literally.
yeah.
But there's a difference between men and women. Do you want to know it?
There is, because they usually beat us.
No. In the game style. It's funny because every woman, I've played many women in tennis, in ping pong, is that they have better backhands than forehands.
Well, it's the same in women's tennis too, isn't it?
That
think,
rings a
yeah.
bell, doesn't it?
I think, generally they're...
What's your best shot in ping pong? Forehand or
think.
backhand? Isn't the backhand?
I'm just
Isn't
thinking.
the backhand? Literally,
you might be right
I've
there.
never met a woman
You might be right
that I
there.
played, including my mother, my girlfriend, my friends. They all are very good at the backhand. Strong.
Yeah.
I'm generally speaking, of course.
I'm just thinking, but you might be right there.
I wonder
I'll pay
what it is.
attention.
Yes,
I'll pay
then you
Certainly
let me
beginner
know.
tennis players, I think, of either gender struggle with the backhand more, don't they?
Yeah.
But I think women, when they get better, especially at elite level, I think their backhands
So maybe it happens in
are
tennis
better.
as well a little bit, but in table tennis,
Yeah,
I have a table there. Are you ready? It's too windy outside today.
that's the shame. I've got a new attic, and I think a table tennis table would probably fit in there just about.
Oh.
Yeah, but you've got to have a bit of space either side.
That's
really,
the
and
problem. Yes.
for getting the ball underneath.
Yeah.
and I've never
places,
played.
yeah.
Okay.
Never played you at table tennis, David.
Yeah.
I'd imagine you'd destroy me.
It's so rare.
Yeah, up to
It's so rare
21
that
or
you
up
can
to
play.
11. What's the thing now? I prefer
I
21.
still
21.
prefer 21.
21.
Yeah,
It's
What
more
is
chance
that
of a comeback.
about changing to 11?
Well, that's another thing, isn't
There's
it?
no
That's
comebacks.
changed over the years. And
Exactly.
that crazy champions tiebreak, and Wimbledon now having a tiebreak
Very
at
sad.
12 all.
Yeah.
So Djokovic and Federer were asking the umpire when's the tiebreak coming.
Yes.
It's making up new
Some-
stuff. I love tradition.
Some
so-
recipes for some shows and some sports are great from the beginning, and you don't need to switch them or change them.
Exactly. Yeah. Yeah.
Definitely.
You don't have to change necessarily for the sake of change, what you mean.
Exactly. But it's happening. I mean, you turn on your phone, and the apps are constantly upgrading and updating
yeah.
and updating, and the computer and the Windows and the
But they're
Mac.
not
it never
always
ends.
better, are they?
They're not
Yeah.
better. No,
Yeah.
I'm sorry, but they're not. Is Szidonia the only woman fan of our show?
I
only
got a
know
message
Stephen has-
through YouTube from a female fan.
I did. But that was a
And-
weird message.
But I think she was a porn model, and I think she was just trying to catfish me.
Yeah, that was weird.
But yeah, because her photo, her profile photo, she wasn't wearing many clothes on it.
It might
So I
be
think she was trying to lure me into click on a link, and yeah. But,
That's the kind of fans we have.
David's very good at computer repairs, so there's a
my
plug
God.
for you.
Yeah, because this is the first female fan I know. We only know what Steven, which is not
Yeah.
really a fan because he hates our love for Feather.
Federer.
And then there's
Yeah.
a couple more that I heard.
So if there are
talking
any
about
more female fans out
Please
there,
let
get
us
in
know.
touch through
Oh, well, I will indeed.
through YouTube. Is maybe the easiest way to get in contact through
Yeah.
comments.
Yeah, sounds
Young
good.
kids.
Yeah.
Australian Open now wants only to accept vaccinated players to play, and Djokovic is having a problem.
Is that
Yeah,
official?
your favorite, by
Yeah.
the way, is having a problem because he does not want to say if he was or not vaccinated. Szidonia, would you be sad not to see Djokovic in the Australian? Do you want, and here's another question, who do you want to be the best of all time at the end? Do you want Djokovic
I think you have the answer
Yeah?
there, yes.
Yeah? Do
Do you think he's the best already? Because they're level on 20.
Yeah. And he has more wins against all of them.
Yes, I think he has good chances to become the best. I wouldn't say he's the best
No?
at the moment, but
What's missing, I wonder, in your... how do you...
I think it's just more in him that he can push out.
Would you say if he had more Grand Slams than the others, would that be enough to call him the best ever? What is your criteria?
I don't know, just pushing it until he can really, and I think he will become the best if he will surpass Federer
Federer and Nadal.
and especially Federer, in my opinion, in terms of the length of play.
Yes.
Ah,
yeah, good points.
exactly, because
Length of
there's
playing,
that's a
and
lot
it's-
of credit to Federer there, isn't there? Coming
Definitely.
back, being almost 40s, winning
Yeah.
Grand Slam at 37, 38.
Well, yeah, Novak
30,
hasn't got
yeah.
there yet, so
Not yet.
maybe when he's 37.
Few more years.
And
Yeah.
Nadal doesn't seem like he's going to get there
Yeah,
because he's cracking down. His body is
Yeah.
cracking down. Yeah.
Yeah.
yeah. Who do you want to be the best? Whoever is the best, really. It might be quite a good answer, I suppose, in terms of, and the number of Grand Slams isn't a bad way to judge it, is it really? If you won 21 and the other guys won 20, you've got a pretty good handle on having that claim of the best ever. Maybe when Novak is 37, he won't even be able to catch a bus. And then we'll go, my God, Roger was greater than we thought.
True.
So
That's a
we
very
could
good
Yeah.
point.
reanalyze it there. Novak's never won the Olympic singles, neither has Roger, and it doesn't look like Novak would, though I wouldn't totally bet against him.
4 years'
in
time,
4
yes.
years.
Well,
last
it's
time.
4 years, whichever way you look
Yeah,
at it.
it'd be
It's
pretty
it's-
amazing if he...
Yeah, not
he did.
4, 3 actually, because it was delayed.
Indeed,
Yeah, we
indeed, it
forget
was
that.
delayed
Very
by
close.
a year.
It's very
Yeah.
close.
Yeah,
Yeah.
It's closer than we think, actually.
yeah.
Mm.
Will UFE still be going in 3 years' time?
We are going to be
Answers
bankrupt
on the
by then.
postcard.
What?
Answers on the postcard.
Well, we're not doing badly. We have a few.
Yes.
It's funny because we can't see how many views is on the podcast app.
Can you not?
No, you
Is
can.
there no way?
You can see on the anchor.com, which is where we upload it to,
Mm-hmm.
and it's always around 30, 40, 50 viewers.
YouTube's
Views,
very
which is
low,
nice.
isn't
YouTube
it?
is always because nobody knows through YouTube.
I watch stuff through YouTube rather than Anchor.
Exactly.
Yeah,
You
yeah.
must
So
be the
anything.
only
Those
number
views
one
are
we
from
have there.
me.
If we have a
Yeah.
number one there, it's you.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I tell you what we should do sometime. I'm sure I suggested this before. Is actually have a video episode of UFE.
We want to do that.
So
yes.
people can see the magic behind the wizard's curtain.
Exactly. We have to have a better looking office.
And probably some lighting.
The lighting.
What's wrong with the UFE studio light?
No,
What
no.
are you
Look,
saying?
I kept these only for you, by the way.
Yeah.
I don't mind darkness. Oh well, I prefer
The
sunlight.
light. Yes.
Sunlight too.
We like this. Well, I like the smoothness of the. Actually, I like the light very much when it's day, and I like the dark very night when it's the night. And today is kind of semi, isn't it? But it's still in the day. The night is gonna fall soon, no?
Yes.
4:00, 4:30.
No,
time
I
has changed.
is it 5? Oh yeah, of course, because the clocks
Exactly.
have
Clocks
changed.
have
I
changed
tell you,
today.
it really confuses me. The clocks changing. I really.
Yeah, exactly.
This is how the time should be, though, isn't it? In the summer, the time is different to how it should be, isn't it? This is how the time should be now. I know that's complicated to.
Wait.
explain,
You're saying
but
that you prefer the time as it is
The
now?
winter.
I'm
with
a
long-
big fan of not changing the clocks at all.
Me
So
too.
keep it as it is now, because this is how time should be. It's
see.
hard to explain, but this is how. Say if we kept the clocks the same since Adam and Eve were born, this would be the time now.
Yeah. So
be the
would you say that
correct
because
way.
then you have very long.
I'm talking rubbish, actually. I'm
Yeah,
like,
we have
but,
very
Trying to-
long. We have very long dark days, isn't it, in the winter?
In the winter, yes, and that, in my opinion, this is why it's good to have the winter clock as such, because even so, it's quite dark and it's getting depressing when you go into December, January.
yeah.
I mean, I start work, I go to work, I walk to work in darkness, and I come
In the
home
morning.
in darkness.
Some
and
people
it's-
prefer a lighter morning, and some people prefer a lighter evening. So you're never going to please everyone.
Never. I love the long dark days. The sun is not calling me to go out. It's just perfect. It's like if it rains and it's dark, then I can stay home with nothing.
You're more
calling me
than
to go
happy
out.
to sit.
Yeah, there's no
in the studio.
justification to go out.
Exactly.
You know, it's perfect. So those Januaries and Februaries are wonderful.
I prefer lighter evenings if you're going to muck around with Mother Nature.
I
and
like
clocks.
the lighter evenings. We can
Because
play
I get up late,
tennis.
I'm a night owl, and also it gives me an extra hour to play tennis because I play tennis in the evening.
Very nice, yes.
Rather than, before I have my cereal, rush out and play a game, which I could do. But
Or do you run? You run?
yeah. So
Do you do sports at all?
Yes,
Tell us about your sporting activities.
I do yoga. That's every day. I enjoy my walks.
Yes, it's
Take
true.
walks. So I'm walking to the office, which is about 40-50 minutes in the
that's a
mornings
good
and in
walk.
the
So that's about.
But it's all by
4
the
kilometres.
Basingstoke Canal.
Yes, and she has a
Very
motorbike.
nice.
Can
Very
you believe that?
nice.
She prefers walking over motorbike.
Yeah.
See,
but-
now there's a big difference between men and women, okay? The man would always
Indeed,
take the
indeed,
motorbike.
I agree on
the
that.
woman would always take the
But
walk.
David, if she
agree.
took the motorbike by the canal, she might have an accident and fall in the canal. There's less chance of that if you're
The problem
walking.
with the motorbike, because I did take the bike a few times during the summer, I get there in 10 minutes.
Yeah.
You know, 10 minutes is just
Takes
not
away
enough
that
for
great
me.
Yeah,
moment you
40
had looking
minutes.
at
It gives you a
birds,
chance.
taking
Birds,
pictures.
indeed. So it's all that getting into
Yeah, psyching
know,
yourself up for,
Yeah.
for work.
exactly for
Yeah.
work or finish work, because that's another part. You have to be able to stop work.
And you're lucky to live within walking distance of work if you live
Indeed.
in
Oh,
Guildford.
I love what you're saying because those 40 minutes would be me in bed sleeping extra.
Well, I used to do that
Okay.
a few years ago. I would say
Mm-hmm.
even just over a year ago, but it doesn't do me any favor. Let's put it that way. So I have my thinking period as such.
Exactly.
But did you work from home during COVID?
Yes.
And you
Yes.
prefer going into the office?
I prefer going in.
Yeah.
Indeed.
Yvonne also prefers the office most of the
Yes.
time.
Yeah.
I'm a little bit of a social.
Yeah.
I need
Yeah, the
people
team
around
there
me.
and
Yeah, so I'm
Yeah.
very much focused. I can work from home, and I have been working from home. But if I have a choice, then it's always better. And communication, it's a lot
Yeah.
a lot more fluent
Yes.
with the team members.
Would you prefer to work from home or work in the office if you
for
were
the rest of my life?
From
Yeah.
from his chair, just as
But I work from home most of the time.
We sleep
so
at work, in effect.
we sleep at work.
Yeah, but you're on the road. You go and visit clients.
So every once in a while, and I have to admit that's nice because you get on the motorbike, and
Yeah.
then you have that good moment,
Yeah.
and then you.
Yeah.
But I would still prefer for them to bring it to me.
Yeah,
and
you
then
can
have
show
those
them
rides and-
more easily face to face. This is how you fix it if it comes up and things like that.
True, yes, and some
Yeah.
customers will sit next to you, really like for half an hour, creating this intensity. I'm already comfortable
Sorry
with
about
it. Some people are weird, man.
Sorry about that. Yeah,
They just stay there,
staring at what you do,
staring at what you
yeah.
head next to my head.
quite in the zone.
Yeah.
People are strange, aren't they?
They are, but people are strange. Doors?
Doors song,
There
yeah.
you go.
Yeah.
And you're a stranger. So, as a man, even has night owl, even has person that loves being at home, I can empathize with your walks by the lake or by the river. In the light is a little bit nicer.
It is,
agree.
but
Yeah.
yes, it definitely is nicer.
Do you see the odd shopping trolley in the canal? Because that's the old cliche. You've got a shopping trolley sticking up, its legs sticking out from the
It's
canal
It's a
wall.
actually
nice
quite
area.
nice and
It's a very
tidy,
nice
and you
area.
have
Yeah.
you have the bins on the side, so you're actually provided bins so that you don't throw your rubbish
That's good.
as it
yeah.
as
It's
it would
good because
happen.
I keep looking for bins in this
Sometimes
South
it's
England. You
Yeah.
can't find them anywhere. You're in a pub, in a park.
yeah, no,
and
'cause
the
it's-
next one is like at the end of the park.
Yeah, at work our bins got taken away. I had a bin by my feet at my desk, and then
Tell us, why is that? Since you're an Englishman, why is it?
I think it was to save money so that the cleaners didn't have to collect a bin from each desk and empty it.
Oh.
So it meant that, if you had a banana
What do you
or
do
something,
now?
well, I have to walk about 20 metres and stick it in the communal bin. And I did think about bringing my own bin in, but they probably wouldn't have liked
I
that.
would
That
have
would have
done that.
destroyed the whole point.
That's
Or
true.
just chucking my banana on the office floor.
Oh, that's even better.
Yeah.
And then the boss sleeping and
Yeah.
going into a coma. Oh man.
Office life, I could write a book about it.
Yeah, I bet.
It really is crazy. Yeah.
All right, so thank you very much for coming.
Yeah,
We
thank
will-
you so much.
We will continue talking, but then there's more time of me working on cutting out shit, crap. There's a
Yeah,
lot
and
of
I
crap.
hope you come back for another episode.
Yeah, one of these days.
sometime. Maybe maybe for the video episode.
Yes, maybe for even more serious issues.
Yeah. Or we could have an
Serious
episode with all
ones.
the guests we've had on appearing on
That would be great. I just have to buy lots of microphones.
That's true, yeah. No, we can't do it.
I have
Scrap
I
it.
have 18 puts there, so it's not too bad. We can have up to 8 people.
There you go.
I would ask people to bring their microphones.
Their own microphones. I don't have any. So.
You don't? Damn it.
No, but
Yeah,
I
buy
can
cheap
borrow
ones.
probably.
got one,
I
I
can borrow.
suppose.
You got
Yeah.
one. Exactly. So thank you very much for coming. It was awesome.
Thank
you
you
made
for-
history. First woman
In
on
the-
your Enforced Terror episode. Pretty cool.
Floodgates have opened.
Yep. Now it's just gonna,
Yeah.
who's next?
How can we top that? I know.
Yeah.
We'll have to get a very old person on, maybe.
That
Don't say
rings a bell.
I'm-
Very old.
I've already been on the show. Yeah, or a very young tennis fan.
Sophia will be part
See,
of
to
our
get
show
a,
one day.
a different perspective of
Yeah,
Just a few more
Yeah.
years until she
That's a
actually.
good point.
Yeah.
I like that a lot, actually.
an oldies one would
Oldies
appeal
one.
to me.
So, how old do you want? Plus 70?
Yeah, I think because I'm 50,
Yep.
so you're
42.
Yes, yeah, 42. So we need a different generation, markedly different.
That makes sense.
So I would say maybe over 65, maybe a pensioner age.
Sounds great.
Yeah.
Let's do it. Thank you very much, Szidonia. It's been a pleasure.
Thank you.
And we're going to end this episode with David singing a song.